Do you know that a recruiter only spends 6 seconds on your resume? 6 seconds. I know this not because I read a post, but because I spent 6 years at Korn Ferry, one of the biggest executive search firm in the world. I watched recruiters scan hundreds of resumes every day. And here's the brutal truth. If your resume does not match the job, they don't even rate it. They move on. So I spent years knowing exactly what a tailored resume needed to look like. But you know what? I still never customize my resume because it's really painful to do it manually. Rewriting the summary, match the keywords, adjusting formatting every single time. And now it's different. I built a tool that does for me in just 2 days with zero coding experience. And in this video, I'm going to show you how exactly I did it, what it does, and the one thing you can try today if you want to build your own tool. Hi, I am Joy. I'm a solopreneur building a one-person company using AI system. Before this, I was a management consultant in Deloitte Consulting. I worked as a senior business analyst at Korn Ferry for APAC region. I've spent over 10 years helping companies run better. And now I'm using the same system thinking, but with Claude Code to build tools for myself. I'm not a developer. I had zero experience with Claude Code when I started this. So if I can build this, you probably can too. Let me show you. Here is the thing about resume customization. Most people know they should do it. They just don't. And I was the same way, despite knowing better. When I was at Korn Ferry, I knew what keywords got through. I knew that a generic resume gets ignored. But every time when I sit down to tailor my own resume to a specific role, I just don't do it because the process is really time consuming. You see, there are a few steps that I need to go through. The step 1 is to read JD very carefully. Identify the key phrases they are actually looking for. Step 2, go into your resume. Find where those phrases apply to your experience. And then rewrite the bullets to match. Then step 3, fix the formatting that breaks when you move things around. And step 4, realize the Word document is misaligned. Fix that. And then you apply for the job. Feeling tired, then you don't want to do it for the next job you apply. So imagine if you apply for 5 jobs. You're doing this for 5 times. If you're doing it really seriously, maybe 15, 20 rows. It's weeks of life spent on reformatting bullet points. The hard part isn't figure out what you have done. The hard part is the mechanical matching and reformatting over and over again. That's what I wanted to automate. Now here is where most people hit a wall. They think building a tool like this requires a developer. It doesn't. And I will show you why. Before I built this with Claude Code, I'd already tried solving this using ChatGPT. I set up a custom GPT. I gave it detailed instructions. I uploaded my resume and JD. It worked, but kind of. Because every output looked slightly different. The formatting wasn't consistent, no matter how I adjusted instructions. ChatGPT doesn't have persistent memory of your local files. Claude Code is different in a fundamental way. It works directly in your local folders. That means it can read your files, write files, create new documents. And it remembers the structure because it's actually living inside your project. When I tell Claude Code, read my master resume and generate a tailored version for this JD, it doesn't need me to paste anything. It already has access. That changes everything. The other thing I noticed almost immediately, Claude doesn't just do what you ask. It thinks through. Of course, I share my thoughts with Claude. I said I need a master resume. I need the output to be a Word document. Then Claude Code handles everything else. It felt less like giving instructions to a chatbot and more like working with someone who genuinely understood the problem. That surprised me. So here's what actually happened. The first thing I did was open Claude Code and say roughly, I want to build a tool that reads my existing resumes and creates a master resume, and then generate tailored versions of resume from that master resume, according to a JD that I give you. Then Claude read multiple versions of my past resume, and then come up with the best version of my work history into a master resume. The master resume is very long, as it contains all the details of my past work. The next step is to generate Word document. Of course, here you need several revisions. You don't expect the first version to be the perfect version, but you can share your feedback with Claude Code. Tell it how you want to improve the formatting and alignment. But the very cool part is you don't need to know how to fix it because Claude Code does. I just described what I want to change. Claude will identify the issue and fix it. That's when I had the first realization, not writing codes, but reviewing output and giving my feedback. Then after several rounds of testing, I had something that really worked, but I wanted to make it even simpler to use. So I built what I now call it a new session prompt. This is a single instruction file that Claude reads at the start of every resume session. So now whenever I want to tailor a resume, I kept three things only: company name, job title, and JD. That's it. Claude reads a master resume, maps it to the JD, selects the most relevant experience, rewrites a summary to match the role, adjusts keyword density, and produces a formatted Word document inside my local folder. The whole thing takes only a few minutes. Let me actually show you what it looks like. Here's a real example. Let's say I'm interested in this role, and when I open the Word document, you can see the formatting is really clean. The summary has been rewritten because that's what the JD specifically asked for. The bullets are reorganized to front load the most relevant experience. And the most important thing that this is the Word file. So I can open it, spend 1 minute reviewing and editing it, make any personal adjustments, and it's ready to go. One thing I want to be honestly about, you still need 1 minute review because though the tool is excellent at keyword matching and restructuring, sometimes there is some special things that you want to highlight, even though it is not that relevant to this job. That's a judgment call that no tool will make for you. So I keep it as a Word document so you can review it quickly, and that's it. Here's what I learned from this. The most useful thing wasn't the resume tool itself. It was learning how to work with Claude Code and solving a real problem I actually had. I watched so many YouTube videos before I started, but I still didn't understand it. The concept makes sense to me, but I have no feel for it. But the moment I started to build something for myself, it clicked. Because you are not just following the steps, you are problem solving. That's how you actually learn any tool. And here is something that's really cool. The assets you build live in your local files. They are with you forever. When you build a tool with Claude Code and store it in your own folder structure, those prompts, those workflow files, those instruction documents, they belong to you. They don't live inside a subscription. They don't disappear if you cancel subscription one day. You're building your own system. And that's compounds over time. And that's really exciting. To me, what excites me most is not the resume tool specifically, but the idea that a solopreneur with no technical experience that can start to build tools that work for them. And those tools get better as you use them. And if you found this video useful, please subscribe. I post one of these every week. See you there.